when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I think that's about my earliest memories of the game, because there was always a table in the house, either in our house, in an uncle's house, a snooker table specifically. And I cannot explain to you why I was always fascinated with that thing. And I must have had some talent at it, because nobody ever really taught me how to make the ball go in. And I remember when I was 6 years old in 1994, one of my first ever sort of live sporting experiences I had was when the family went to Sun City. And that year, they had the World Snooker Trick Shots Championship, where there were a lot of former World Snooker champions and players from South Africa like Peter Francisco, Steve Davis, Dennis Taylor, Willie Thorne. I had no idea who any of these people were at the time. But one of my standout memories from that was they had the trick shot called the shotgun. It's when you roll the cue ball slowly at the pocket and you have to knock in all the other reds before the cue ball reaches the pocket. And I just remember that it was Steve Davis was the only player that actually completed it successfully. I actually got to meet him afterwards, having absolutely no idea that at the time he was still considered the greatest player to have ever lived. And then some years went by, and I just became more and more fascinated with snooker by the fact that it was back on South African television again. There was a club around the corner from where I lived, and I used to go there a lot. And I was very lucky to meet the Naran family, the late great Hitesh Naran and his son Ashwin, who kind of took me in and maybe spotted a talent within me that I didn't even see in myself, to be honest with you. And I actually ignored them for years. I was at 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know, wanting to be good at snooker, but not truly giving it my best. And only in recent years, I've decided to fully commit to it, and that's led to some things. Talent is important, but I think in many respects, you have to be a little bit mad, mental, crazy, whatever you want to call it. Because this sport in particular is one where you are truly by yourself. There's no coaches in your corner to talk to. And it's the only sport when your opponent is at the table, there's absolutely nothing that you can do to stop him, except sit in your chair and hope for a chance. So you had better learn how to control your thoughts, how to control your emotions, stay positive, stay in the game, or else it's really not going to be the sport for you. It's important to work on your talent and work on your skills. You cannot just be mentally strong and not have the skill. You must work on both. But in this sport in particular, one without the other, you're going to be missing something. So you have to spend as much time on the table as thoroughly understanding how your own mind works. The biggest way in which I deal with it is just understanding that there's a life outside of this. I think for professionals it's very difficult because it's the means by which they earn an income. So you can never truly switch off from it, and I think that's something that they find very difficult. On the amateur level, it might be a little bit easier because it's not the thing that we do. It's not the thing that defines us on the day-to-day. But as you get older, as time goes on, you realize that what happens here on the table, between these 6 cushions actually, between these walls, what happens in a match, it's only a small facet of life. At the end of the day, it is just a game. It's a game you take seriously. It's a game you desperately want to win. But you have to remember that you still have a life. If somebody took this away from you, what would you be? And if you can focus on being the best you can be to yourself, to the people around you, and yet still give it your best on the table, for me, that's really helped put things in perspective on the table, which has allowed me, I think, to have better results and play better and achieve more in recent years. Yes, in many respects, you are the defending champion, but I am trying to treat it as a tournament that I'm trying to win. I've always played better in an attacking mindset than in a defensive mindset. And if I think that the trophy is mine, I have to keep it somehow, that puts me in a defensive mindset. My approach is doing exactly what I did last year, which is you put in your hours, you see how you feel. If you're playing well, take it to the tournament, take dead aim at every shot and let the chips fall where they may. That's how I choose to play the game now, and I will do exactly the same thing when the championship rolls around in May. For me, the best thing about playing snooker, again, my answer at my current age is probably going to be different than it would have been years ago. On one aspect, in terms of playing the game, it really appeals to a certain side of my brain. Maybe what one might even say is the slightly autistic side of me that loves puzzle solving. For example, I don't require an audience, I don't require tournaments to be in a room by myself and enjoy playing. I love having a cue in my hand. I love seeing the balls on the table as a pattern that I need to work out. That is genuinely my favorite part of playing the game. It's just the game itself. My other favorite part of playing the game has been the people and friendships that I've been able to make, the places I've been able to travel to. Snooker is a truly global sport. The toughest side of it is also something you can learn to love, but it's what you have to put yourself through in order to become good at this game. You really have to learn how to delve into your own head a lot. And that can be an uncomfortable place. And it requires many hours of practice. It's warfare out there. And you have to learn to put yourself through mental warfare. There's going to be nerves, there's going to be stress, and you have to learn to deal with it somehow. If you're in a match when you're ahead and someone's coming back at you, it's all stressful. When I came back into the sport in the year 2022, I really made a commitment as well that I was going to actually try and scale Mount Snooker in South Africa. On the 21st of December 2021, I remember I worked with South African snooker coach Rafik Lambada, and he still got it on his iPad. We made a note where he literally wrote there, he said, in 3 years, I want you to be SA champion by then. And just under 2.5 years later, it came true. So it's proved to me, not only just in snooker, but it's been proven in other aspects of life as well, that it's amazing what you can achieve if you actually try. If you actually give it your full, your full attention, your full effort, your full spirit, and open yourself up to see what's possible. On the personal side of things, I think where it's really helped me in life with the people that I deal with is, I'm thinking here of the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters the same, it talks about how you handle yourself as a champion. And I'm very lucky to have had the correct mentor when I started the game, the late Hitesh Naran. I talk about him a lot, but it's true. He taught me that because he was loved by people, but I think he was more loved for who he was as a champion person, not as a champion player. He taught me years ago that no matter what you do, you always conduct yourself like a champion. If you win, you enjoy it, you remain humble. If you lose, you shake hands with your opponent, you wish him well. And over time, what inadvertently happens is you'll gain support of people as a result like that, if you just conduct yourself properly. And that'll earn you friends. And beyond the table, that's more important than anything.